That is how Floyd Mayweather got knocked out by the IRS in 2022. Floyd had some issues with his taxes for the year 2017. The government checked his tax return and found a problem, so they informed him about it on February 2nd, 2022. He claimed a big expense of about $14 million that he says he paid for legal expenses. The government didn't agree with this expense and said it was a lie. So they said he owed about $5.5 million more in taxes because of it. They also said he had to pay an additional $1.1 million in penalties for making mistakes on his tax return. That was how Floyd got KO'd into the hot water with the tax authorities. Comment on the word free below this video, and I'll send you access to a free call where you can discuss your tax situation with the most experienced attorney and get the best possible recommendations in a few minutes. Make sure you're following so you can receive the link immediately after your comment.
Why not?
Floyd Mayweather.
You can't take it with you. I mean, there's no Brett Trust pulling up at no funeral home. So, I mean, you gotta be able to enjoy your money, but make your money work for you.
Carpe diem, seize the day, live every day.
Absolutely.
That's Floyd Mayweather's strategy.
My strategy is I'm a hustler. No matter how you look at it. Just because I may wear a diamond, necklace or a big diamond ring, because another guy he wear a ring on his ring finger. He's no better than I am. He's doing the same thing I'm doing, but he's just sweeping his dirt under the rug. And mine is out in the open.
Money doesn't make people happy, but you've got a hell of a lot of it.
Am I happy? Absolutely. I'm happy because my children are happy. I'm happy because my mom is happy. I'm not happy because of the money. Because I was happier when I didn't have the money.
Just signed a deal to lease an apartment in Midtown Manhattan. He's going to be paying $100,000 per month for this place. Here's the apartment, you guys. It's got 5 bedrooms, 7 bathrooms, 4,000 square feet, and the place is pretty epic, I'm not going to lie. The description says that this is a double unit and it is a corner unit, so you got a ton of natural light in here. Do you think this place is worth $100,000 per month? Why would Floyd spend $100,000 a month on this apartment? If I had to guess, it would be a combination of owning something is just kind of a liability. Plus, I'm pretty sure whenever you rent a place versus buy a place for business purposes, you're able to write off more of that lease payment. So if I had to guess, that $100,000 per month is going to be a pretty big write-off for him based on how he plans.
In 2022, Floyd Mayweather's carefully crafted image as an untouchable financial juggernaut began to fracture under the weight of a series of damning revelations, the most serious of which came directly from the IRS. The federal government flagged Mayweather's 2017 tax return for what they labeled a fraudulent $14 million deduction, which he had claimed as legal expenses. That deduction didn't pass the sniff test for IRS investigators, who quickly disallowed it and issued a crushing blow, an additional $5.5 million in taxes owed, plus $1.1 million in accuracy-related penalties. It was a red flag not just for the IRS but for the public, especially considering this wasn't Mayweather's first run-in with tax authorities. Despite his public insistence that he had paid off every penny, official IRS records indicated otherwise. He still owed, and owed big. This revelation opened the floodgates for deeper scrutiny. Suddenly, the man who called himself Money and bragged about carrying 7-figure stacks in duffel bags looked more like a cautionary tale than a financial guru. Behind the scenes, signs of instability were mounting. Employees at his Mayweather Boxing Plus fitness gym in Los Angeles began speaking out in protest. According to multiple
I didn't know Conor McGregor was undefeated. I didn't know that he had a reign in MMA for 20 years and undefeated, and was world champion in 5 different weight classes. That's something I didn't know. Yeah. So I guess you guys tell me something new. If you say he's a Floyd Mayweather of the MMA,
Well, do you?
I mean, if you say he's a Floyd Mayweather of the MMA, I'm trying to find out. Have you ever made $300 million in one night? Have you ever made $100 million in one night? Have you ever made $70 million in one night? So, hard trying to say that he's a Floyd Mayweather MMA. I mean, it's okay to just to say it, but it's not a living legend. You know, I gave just what a box. I gave years and years of hard work. It was blood, sweat, and tears. Had a tremendous team. Had a tremendous run. I think that it's time for Conor McGregor to go out there, and do what he do. But never compare Conor McGregor to me. That's a total disrespect.
Well,
I mean, once again, I'm an elephant. Elephant don't beef with ants. You know, elephant is so large you don't even see. You don't even see it.
Could learn from you in terms of life away from the ring.
Well, Floyd seems to be going through some stuff like me right now. You know, like realizing no one's his friend and everybody's probably, and you know, I even hate to say it, maybe everybody's kind of a little jealous of him. You know, because he is Floyd Mayweather. I know these other guys got their money, but this guy is champ of the world. You know, it's hard to compete with that. So he's pretty big on those scales as far as on the celebrity scale. So he's gonna realize what life is all about, and what friends are all about, and realize that we only have a few of them. And sometimes they're the only ones we got. They may not be the ones we want, but they're the ones we have. You know, sometimes we're gonna have glorious, glamorous friends, but they don't want to be our friends.
For staff members, they hadn't been paid in weeks. Some were forced to take side jobs just to pay rent or feed their families, while others said they relied on community food donations to get by. Outside the gym, a small protest formed, with staffers holding signs that read, "The money team got no money" and "Modern-day slavery," accusing Mayweather of exploiting their labor while flaunting his luxury lifestyle online. All of this came as Mayweather was reportedly leasing a $100,000 per month apartment in Manhattan, showing off luxury vehicles, private jets, million-dollar jewelry collections, and $20,000 shopping sprees on social media. His Instagram account continued to depict a life of limitless wealth and indulgence, completely detached from the financial realities his employees and even creditors were allegedly facing. This disconnect didn't go unnoticed. Critics began to ask, if Floyd had the money he claimed to, why were his employees unpaid? Why did the IRS say he still owed back taxes? And more importantly, how long could he keep up the facade? Mayweather has always defended his
because he talks about his money a lot, so he compared I guess his fight with Pacquiao to Anthony Joshua, and he was saying basically they didn't need 100,000 or 90,000 people to do X amount of dollars. Here I'm going to listen to it. Here's what he had to say verbatim. Here's what Floyd said about Anthony Joshua.
Talk about that. I was in the Guinness Book of World Record for breaking all the records. You didn't tell them that? Of course you have. for generating billions in the sport of boxing, that for having the fastest sellout crowd. But those guys done. And I was watching a fight when I was at my Miami house. I was at my Miami home. I was watching a fight with Crystal and the guy Joshua. All right. The money team.
Asking where I had to deal with uncertainty. I had to deal with conflict with my now wife because of me not figuring out where I'm going to do. Where am I going to get money from to pay my bills? This is insanity, man. We've had members come here and try to offer us we can help you out here, we can give you money, or people gave us Chick-fil-A cards that we could try to eat food this. Fairness is fair, man. You gotta pay what's due. This is about more than just pay at this point. It's come on.
You're good. Thank you.
How you doing? I'm Aya Love, community activist and a former trainer here at Mayweather Boxing and Fitness in Hollywood. We're out here today because we're spreading awareness around inhumane conditions that are taking place.
Extravagant spending by doubling down on his philosophy. Money is meant to be spent, not hoarded. In interviews, he has often spoken about how the pursuit of wealth brought him less joy than expected. "I was happier when I had less," he once admitted. But even as he embraced this carpe diem lifestyle, many began to suspect that it wasn't just about living in the moment, it was about survival. After retiring from boxing, Mayweather transitioned into exhibition matches, often against YouTubers, influencers, and mixed martial artists with little boxing pedigree. He made no secret that these fights were legalized bank robberies, a phrase he coined proudly. But some insiders now believe these fights were less about padding his legacy and more about plugging financial holes. It wasn't just the IRS and unpaid employees raising concerns. In 2021, reports emerged that Mayweather came out of retirement to pay off a $22.2 million IRS debt. That alone called into question
money, and you don't get paid. Well, that's exactly what it is for employees of Floyd Mayweather. Employees of his Los Angeles gym accused Floyd Mayweather of bankruptcy after failing to pay them. I mean, he's still buying stuff. Portfolio valued at $10 billion, including 18 office buildings spanning. I mean, he can do all this, but he can't pay his employees' salaries. $10 billion portfolio, 18 office buildings spanning 10 million square feet. Like what? Another deal he finalized with a $20 million property in Manhattan. Financial troubles. Despite these high-profile purchases, allegations of unpaid wages at Mayweather's Los Angeles, employees claim that they haven't received paychecks, prompting a public protest outside the facility on Highland Avenue. One protester held a sign accusing Mayweather of modern-day slavery, while another noted that the money team has no money. Even if you work for a different company and if you ain't getting paid, you're scared to show up and say something because you know how businesses do. They silence you and they fire you. The employees alleged violations of California Labor Code 210, which mandates penalties for late wages. First-time violations can include fines between $100 to $200 and unpaid wages beyond the 30 days entitled work to a full day pay for every day delayed. That is crazy. Money team ain't got no money. Apparently, it's not the first time, too. They had one in Elk Grove and it closed down because the landlord sued for a non-payment of $30,000 in rent. Now the LA gym facing closure, employees are questioning whether Mayweather himself is aware of
the security of his fortune. Around the same time, he started claiming ownership of an alleged $400 million real estate portfolio in Manhattan. The claims raised eyebrows, not just for their grandeur, but for their timing, coming right as creditors and critics were zeroing in. Real estate experts noted the lack of documentation or verifiable records proving Mayweather actually owned the properties he claimed. Some suspected these were investments propped up by loans or shared ownerships, hardly the fortress of wealth he painted in interviews. What's more, Mayweather's strained relationships have begun to reflect his financial challenges. Business partners have come and gone. Lawsuits, unpaid endorsements, and failed ventures have piled up. Even former allies, including fighters he once promoted under Mayweather Promotions, have distanced themselves. Behind the scenes, rumors swirled that some of Mayweather's closest business partners were abandoning ship, sensing that the empire might be built on sand.
Just to help you. Yeah, I'm with Floyd getting a check. I get a check from Floyd, but I want to push you. Have your own business while you traveling the world with me and we laughing, we kicking, and we joking. You got a company where you're making money also. So if something go wrong and you're not with me no more, you don't have nothing bad to say about me. Because I put you in a position to become an entrepreneur or to become a boss.
RICO lawsuit that Floyd Mayweather and Tiger is being hit with? Wow! So apparently it's over some stolen jewelry and, or at least allegedly, and the entire story is pretty crazy, and the fact that they're calling it RICO is pretty wild as well, because apparently there was some type of, at least what is being alleged, some type of scheme set up and ran by these celebrities in order to get away with taking free jewelry off of jewels. So, seems like
rather than solid ground. The psychological toll may be even greater. Mike Tyson once warned that fame has a way of isolating people, of surrounding them with yes-men who won't tell them the truth. Tyson's observation seemed to apply directly to Mayweather, who has increasingly operated in a self-constructed echo chamber where no one challenges his narrative. He's lashed out at anyone comparing him to modern athletes like Conor McGregor, insisting that no one in combat sports has accomplished what he has. He reminds the world that he retired undefeated, that he made over $1 billion, and that he remains a household name globally. But for those watching closely, the louder Mayweather speaks, the more desperate he appears to control a story that's slipping away from him. Even his role as a father has come under the microscope. He frequently tells the public that he's setting up his children for generational wealth and entrepreneurial success. Yet, some question how secure that future really is, given the inconsistencies in his business dealings and the financial smoke surrounding him. Several insiders suggest that while Mayweather may still have substantial assets, they're not nearly as liquid or untouchable as he claims. Between lawsuits, IRS debts, unpaid staff, and questionable real estate deals, his empire may be more vulnerable than he or his followers wants to admit. In the end, Floyd Mayweather may still own diamond-encrusted watches, multi-million-dollar homes, and a legacy of 50-0. But the image of Money Mayweather, the untouchable king of cash, is beginning to crack. As the IRS, unpaid employees, and a skeptical public keep digging deeper, Mayweather's greatest opponent may not be a rival in the ring, but the consequences of a life built on spectacle, secrecy, and unchecked spending. And for a man who's never lost a fight, the battle to maintain his financial empire may prove to be the most punishing of all.